Convert the following equation from point-slope form to slope-intercept form. So, this equation here is in point-slope form. When we look at equation in point-slope form, we first of all can determine the slope of the line, which in this case is 2, and the coordinates of a point on the line. The coordinates of a point on the line will be the opposite of these two numbers here. For instance, the point on this line would be -8, 7. Now, to put the equation in slope-intercept form, we want to put the equation in the form y equals mx plus b. So, an equation in slope-intercept form has y isolated. You will also notice that on the right side, the mx plus b has no parentheses. So in order to take this equation in point-slope form and write it in slope-intercept form, the first thing I will do is distribute the 2 in order to eliminate the parentheses. So that would be 2x plus 16. And then I will add 7 to both sides to isolate the y. So that gives us y equals 2x plus 16 plus 7, or plus 23. So the slope of the line is 2, which we could tell from the point-slope form, and now we can see that the y-intercept of this line is 23. Now, let's do something similar here. This time we have a fraction, but the process is quite similar. So, the first thing I will do is I will distribute the -1/3. -1/3 times x is -1/3 x, and -1/3 times 2 is -2/3. Now I'll subtract 1 from both sides in order to isolate the y. So y equals -1/3 x minus 2/3 minus the 1. And I'll use my fraction skills to combine these two like terms. The common denominator would be 3, and -1 is equivalent to -3/3. So we get y equals -1/3 x minus 5/3. So the slope of this equation is -1/3, and the y-intercept is -5/3. So, to summarize, write our strategy for the steps you need to take in general to convert from point-slope form to slope-intercept form. The first thing we would do is to distribute the slope. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, when we have point-slope form, we have y minus y sub 0 equals m times x minus x sub 0. I mean, we would distribute this m times these two quantities here. So we would have mx minus m times x sub 0. Then we would add or subtract, depending on the sign of the y sub 0. We would add or subtract y sub 0 to isolate y. That is to say, I would add or subtract y sub 0 to both sides of the equation. So that means we would have something like y equals mx minus m times x sub 0 plus the y sub 0. And all of this would be a constant, and we would simply do arithmetic to simplify that. Now, in these two problems, we're going to convert these two lines from point-slope form to general linear form. And general linear form looks like ax plus by equals c. Now, I think the easiest way to do this would be to first take these lines in point-slope form and write them in slope-intercept form, as we did in the last two problems. So, I will first distribute the slope, which gives us negative 2x minus 2. And then I will add the 19 to both sides to isolate the y. And negative 2, I'm sorry, I might have misspoken a moment ago. I'm going to subtract the 19 from both sides. If we subtract the 19 from both sides, that would give us minus 21. Okay, so this equation is now in slope-intercept form. And to get this equation in general linear form, all we need to do is add the 2x to both sides in order to get the two terms with the x and the y together. So if we add 2x to both sides, we get 2x plus y on the left and negative 21 on the right. Now, for part B. Again, I will start by distributing the slope. So we have negative 3/5 times x plus 3/5. Now, I will I will subtract 3 from both sides. Lost my x here. So we would get y equals negative 3/5 x plus 3/5. Take away the 3. And I'm going to use my fraction skills just to combine these two constants. So 3 would be equivalent to 15/5. Now that we have a common denominator, we can combine these two terms. So 3/5 minus 15/5 would be minus 12/5. Now that we've got this equation in slope-intercept form, we still want to get it in general linear form. So I will add the 3/5 x to both sides in order to get the two terms with x and y on the same side. And we could stop there, but I would prefer to simplify this equation to eliminate the fractions. I can do that by multiplying both sides of the equation by 5. On the left side, that gives us 3x plus 5y, and on the right side, negative 12. So, now let's write a strategy for the steps you need to take in general to convert from point-slope form to general linear form. You should have noticed in the last two problems, the first thing we did was we converted the equation in point-slope form to slope-intercept form. And the way we did that was, as we did above, we distributed the slope and then we isolated the y. After that, we converted to general linear form. So in order to take the equation in slope-intercept form and to get the equation in general linear form, we got the two terms with the x's and the y's together and the constant on the other side, and if necessary we multiplied by a constant in order to eliminate any fractions.